Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for tuning in again. I've spoken about this earlier. It is important in my view, and I've seen people come across this issue several times. तो इसलिए मैं इसे repeat करना चाहता हूँ in another session, and that is a retention of the documents. आप ज़िंदगी में जिस तरीके से आगे बढ़ते जाते हैं, you create records. You create records with your school, with your employer, with your business. And the important part is that you retain those records. Do not destroy them, or do not intend not to keep a copy, because at a later stage, those are required. Increasingly so with the US government, what they do is they ask for your information. Now, the common thing which most people do is they say, okay, मैं सोचता हूँ मैंने क्या किया, and then they write it down. And you know, as humans, we tend to forget. That's natural. तो होता ये है कि आज के मुताबिक आपसे कुछ पूछा है कि आप बताएं कि आपने पिछले 15 साल में क्या नौकरी की या क्या काम किया, and you say whatever you are. Later on, you figure out, oh no, मैंने आज से 5 साल पहले जब कुछ और केस किया था या किसी और एम्बेसी में या कहीं और, तो उसमें कुछ और लिख दिया था. And increasingly so, which is very alarming, that now the US government would take your previous information, try to find the contradictions so as to deny your case. And let me give you an example, something which is very, very common. हमारे यहाँ जब ख़वातीन का वीज़ा अप्लाई किया जाता है, स्पेशली मैरिड women, तो द हस्बैंड इज़ द वन हु इज़ फिलिंग अप द फॉर्म DS 160, और उसमें जहाँ बात आती है कि जी मेरी वाइफ के वालिदैन का क्या नाम है, कहाँ रहती है, दोज आर स्टैंडर्ड थिंग्स. अब जब वो पूछते हैं कि जी डू यू हैव एनी वर्क एक्सपीरियंस, डू यू हैव एनी एजुकेशन, नो. वर्क एक्सपीरियंस, नो. हैव यू एवर वर्कड अर्लियर, नो. क्या करती हैं, हाउस वाइफ, दैट इज़ इट. क्यों, विजिट वीज़ा के लिए जा रहे हैं, क्या ज़रूरत है, दैट्स इट. एंड मेनी अ टाइम्स आई हैव सीन those females have been working in certain areas, चाहे वो 6 महीने के लिए काम हो, 1 साल के लिए हो, किसी ने स्कूल में पढ़ाई की थी, टीचिंग की थी, किसी ने किसी और फ्रंट डेस्क के तौर पे काम किया था या कुछ ना कुछ किया था, and then they do not mention those. Later on, when I ask them कि आपने कभी काम किया, and she says yes, I have worked, but what? It's not mentioned in the application, so now you cannot use that. So the one thing that I would recommend is, first of all, keep records. जो कुछ भी आप कर रहे हैं, keep 2 sorts of records. एक उसका electronic record, nowadays everything is good, आप अपने कंप्यूटर पे, हार्ड ड्राइव पे, कहीं पे भी वो रख लें. Keep it in the USB as well, and also keep a printed copy of all those things. And secondly, do not assume that people haven't worked. Most of our folks have contributed at home, in society, one way or the other. To give you an example, कि हमारे यहाँ कहा जाता है कि औरतों ने कमेटियाँ डाली हुई हैं. What is that? That's also a financial aspect. So they act as the financial advisors to the family. They try to manage the finances of the company, of their family, sorry, where they say, okay, you know what, I know that in about 12 months I would need this sum of money. I wouldn't have it at that time. मैं हर महीने उसे एक जगह पे डिपॉजिट करती जाऊँ so that I get it at that time. What is that? That's the financial planning. लेकिन हम उन ख़वातीन को financial planner नहीं कहते. क्यों नहीं कहते? Because we think it's a modern term, whereas it's not. So can these things be mentioned in the application? Yes, they can, and they should, because housewives are not just housewives. They contribute a lot to the proper upbringing of the children, to helping out their husbands, their brothers, their fathers in managing the affairs of the business, at times giving them subtle advice. So incorporate those things in the application. And not only do you incorporate them, you also keep records of those things, because later on in life, those records are going to be helpful. ये वो चीज़ें हैं जो आइंदा चल के आपको फ़ायदा देंगी. ये वो चीज़ें हैं जो शो करेंगी कि आपने अपनी ज़िंदगी को किस तरीके से प्रोडक्टिवली यूज़ किया. And not only that, it also helps the case for whatever thing you are doing, because we touch on different aspects of society as we move on in life, and it shows that you have been doing those things. So US immigration is a big topic, right? आप कौन सा वीज़ा इस्तेमाल करना चाहते हैं, क्या करना चाहते हैं, आप पे कौन सी कैटेगरी पे आप आएंगे. But the one thing which is common in almost everything is that what did you do? What have you done so far? और अगर आपने वो किया तो क्या आपने उसका एक कंसिस्टेंट रिकॉर्ड रखा या नहीं रखा. वो जो कंसिस्टेंट रिकॉर्ड है, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. सो इफ यू हैवंट डन दैट, स्टार्ट डूइंग इट. इट्स नेवर टू लेट. फॉर द फ्यूचर, yes, always keep records. Keep records of what you have, what you plan to do, and that's what will help you, because you have it codified, you have it organized. Anytime someone asks you, you give it. And the best part is there is no contradiction, क्योंकि हर दफ़ा आपको सोचना नहीं पड़ रहा क्या कहा था, आगे लिखा था, नहीं लिखा था. Many a times they go by days. तो फ़र्ज़ करें आपने कहा कि मैंने मार्च 15, 2004 से एक जॉब शुरू की थी, और आप कहते हैं कि जी मैंने मार्च 1, 2014 से शुरू की थी. A difference of 15 days, so what? But no, they take it as a discrepancy. So that's something which you have to be very careful about. And it's one of the easiest things that can be done. We just don't do it out of ease. कि बस मुझे पता है ना मेरी ज़िंदगी है, मैं तो बाद में भी ये बता दूंगा. No, with time we forget. With time we commit errors. So the good thing is you don't have to do that. आज से 25-30 साल पहले when we didn't have too many computers, it was a bit difficult. Printed format में रखें, कहाँ रखें, ख़राब हो गया. Now everything is digital. So keep a copy. Maintain folders. Share it with your family, so that not one but several people have it. If one's digital data gets lost, the other one has it. But it's much more safe, it's better. Keep those things with you, because next time somebody asks something, you give it to them. And that is a segue maybe into a later situation where we'll talk about what things you should discuss with your attorney. We'll talk that on a separate topic. But other than that, you can only tell somebody the things which you yourself know. And it's very easy to give them whatever you have in a printed format, saying, hey, these are the things we have, you go figure it out what is needed. And if you, at times we commit mistakes, right? हम सब इंसान गलतियाँ करते हैं. So if we have done something wrong, then we can always go back and correct that error, because we know that an error was done. But how do we know an error was done? Because we have a copy. If we don't have a copy, our mind tends to tell us, नहीं आपने ये गलती नहीं की. Because that's just how the human brain works. कि वो आपको कहता है भाई नहीं आप तो गलती कर ही नहीं सकते, दूसरा गलती करेगा, आपने उसे पिन पॉइंट करना है, लेकिन आप कभी गलती नहीं कर सकते. Now how do you do that? You look at your own records, and it is very brave to admit your mistakes and to say, okay, हो गई गलती, ठीक है, मैं उसे रेक्टिफाई कर लेता हूँ. लेकिन क्या मेरी इंटेंशन ये थी कि मैं गलत करूँ? नो. गलती का मतलब ही यही है that it was committed out of ignorance, out of speed, out of hurry, out of something which did not have malice. It did not have the evil intention in it. And everybody understands कि ठीक है आपसे गलती हो गई, but how do you rectify that? Only once you have those records. So what I would strongly recommend is anything that you do in life, keep records of those, share them, and that is going to help you in a long way. Whenever you work on cases, it's not only going to help you, it's also going to help your future generation. क्योंकि हम आज की बात सोच रहे हैं, हमें नहीं पता आज से 30 साल बाद जब नेक्स्ट जनरेशन आती है, what sort of information would they be accessing? But the more the information, the better it is for you and for them to readily access that. It helps everybody. It doesn't hurt anyone. It's just that you need to figure out how to work it out. If you haven't done so already, start doing it. I apologize, I'm harping on the same thing again and again, but it's I cannot stress that enough. So best of luck on that, and we'll keep you informed on other topics of general relevance which are not particular about immigration only, but they do play a role therein. Thank you for tuning in.